Hey guys, how are you? I was thinking that if there were really ancient civilizations, ancient alien technology, and all of this stuff from the past, we would already found one of these. Now, these would be really interesting to find, right? Some sort of drill or special tool that really proves that it was done by a superior civilization, either from this world or from another planet. People who claim that, first of all, let me give you my take on what I believe, uh, who I believe built these megalo structures, these massive stone um, um, monoliths around the world, because they're all over the world. And I want to give you my perspective on who I think built them, or how, or just a concept, just a new, a thought, just a thought regarding these these massive structures. Now, those who claim that they were built by ancient civilizations that went extinct, or aliens who came down and instructed humans, hunting gatherers, hairy primates, uh, um, brothers from the past, they should really look into two very interesting arguments. My two arguments, which I believe in some way back up my claim that it was done by us, is, first of all, when you claim that it was done by these two um, categories, right? Ancient aliens or ancient civilizations. Have you ever tried to do it yourself? Have you ever tried to build it yourselves in your backyard? Have you built or carve a stone? Have you tried to make a hole through a stone? Have you carry something that really well, or try to come up with a form of transportation where you play around with it and you know that it works or it doesn't work? You haven't. If you haven't, you are really messing with the mind of a designer, because the mind of a designer really knows in measures and in quantifiable ways if certain structure is going to work or not. And we have some sort of knowledge if it can be built or not, regardless if it can be built or not. So if you have that mind, if you don't have the mind of with actual experience and empirical experience um, behind your back, it's going to be very hard for you to prove that it was done otherwise by these ancient civilizations. Because this is the second argument. I don't see any advanced civilization, any advanced technology, or any advanced form of building in those structures. I don't see that it was built by ancient gods or ancient civilizations. I did, in the contrary, I see that it was built by hunting gatherers to the best of their ability and to the best of their knowledge and strength. There's nothing special about it. There's no complex math. The design back then doesn't show an advanced form of designing. Stacking blocks of stones, or stones one on top of another one till you building a structure, is not an advanced design. Even if it comes from some alien civilization that possesses it, still that advanced civilization could have showed a different way of designing stuff rather than just helping them build walls that are groups of stones piled together, like if it was built by some sort of uh, ant, uh, you know, society, or some sort of. It just looks very very simple. It looks it actually looks it was done by hairy primates who were just piling up stones. Now, some of these are like big. The question remains whether how they carried these stones and structures. Uh, and But we go back to the first question: have you tried to build something to carry them? Was it done by dozens, perhaps hundreds of people who help each other to achieve that form of transportation from point A to point B? What were they under slavery? Were they under some sort of tyranny that or subject to anything that could have forced them to do it? Was it a hundreds of years that they work on this? Remember the guy who built the castle in his backyard? I think he converted his whole house into a castle, monoliths of up to 12 or 15 high, stones weighing up to maybe a ton. Uh, and he built that stuff for his girlfriend. Nobody saw him build it. All of a sudden, it appeared overnight, and now it's a museum, and it's everybody goes there, and it's just amazed at how he did it. That's why those 2 points are very important. Have you tried yourself? Have you tried to dig a hole through a stone? Have you tried to put blocks together or build in Latin American countries? That's the way they build. They stack up stones together. There's no ancient myth. I was in Peru. I've seen the structures over there, like a feet away. They're not impossible. Maybe it's something I can do if I really put myself into do it because I am a designer. I've dealt with putting things together before. No big deal. Um, okay. So I was working in my kitchen, and the one thing I mentioned about it doesn't show very advanced. It doesn't show their technology doesn't show very complex geometries, very structured ways of building stuff other than blocking than stacking blocks of stones and all stuff. Right here, I stumbled upon these corners where I need an angle because that's the way it was done before. And I have to reproduce this miter cut at 45 degrees. But when you take this the corner out, it has a way of doing it, and actually it's cut twice inward. And it's just a complex way of doing it. I don't see this sort of design or complex, you know, geometry back in the days where all you do is just stack stones together. If they don't fit, you grind them, you cut them, and you put them together and accommodate them facing the moon. It's not a very advanced form of alien technology. Should there, uh, I mean, uh, had it been an ancient alien technology, we would have, we would just see it in their architecture because it would have been a different form of building, a different form of architecture, of a structural design and a structural implementation methodology. It's just a different way that will really amaze us. Um, and I don't see it. I just can't find it. To me, this is a knockout argument. It is very strong. Whereas if I turn this corner around, let me just show you here something I want to show you. Okay. If I turn this corner aside and I make a 90-degree cut, what do you think is going to happen? It fits perfectly. Instead of going into that complicated geometry. And that's exactly what the ancient people did. They didn't want to mess with complex geometry, so they went for the easy one, which is building stuff in the most simple way. And it was useful. It worked, but it's not a very advanced form of technology designing, or you don't need a very advanced form of technology to do it. Again, we go back to the first argument. If you've tried it and you could build it, then you can attest it. If you haven't tried it yourself, doing it yourself, building it yourself, you don't play around with it, you don't go in the lab, you don't go in the field and build stuff, there's no way you can say that they build it. Okay, so I hope you got the the metrics of my proposition, my thought here, and sounds interesting, right? That it could have been us. All right, thanks.